everyone. Welcome to Special Interests with Bob and Donna. So for those of you who don't know who we are, I am a retired educator with the New York City Board of Education. I retired about 32 years ago and totally enjoying retirement here on Long Island where we live. Bob is an award-winning crime thriller novelist and outdoors writer. He is a member of the New York State Outdoor Writers Association, the Outdoor Writers Association of America, and we are both proud members of the Trumansburg Fishing Game Club, and Bob is going to be a new member of the Newfield Rod and Gun Club. Both of those clubs are up in central New York where we spend a little bit of vacation time and we have a good time, a good rest, good hunting and good fishing.
That's
up
right.
there. Beautiful country. We're very excited about this video because...
Let me interrupt you a second. That was a nice introduction. You gave my
Did I leave
credentials.
something
You
out?
missed a beat because it's recent.
Oh, you're okay. I know what you're alluding to.
Okay.
Why do I
It's
always
a poor
forget?
dog that can't wag its own tail.
Okay. We're very proud of the fact that Bob is a recent recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award for his fiction and for his nonfiction from Who's Who in America.
That and how much is a Subway token today?
Token, you are dating yourself.
Oh,
There are no
no
tokens
tokens, it's all-
anymore.
So that and a pass or whatever.
Whatever. I think they're getting
me
rid
on
of the
that.
Metro cards too, so I don't
Yeah,
know what they're
yeah,
doing. But anyway, so as I'll continue with the excitement about this video. We are very excited about these KastKing Spartacus knives that we have here. It's 7 inches and 9 inches for fillet and boning and for food prep. So I'm going to leave this to Bob. He's going to do the video for you, and I will be behind the camera.
The woman behind the curtain. Okay, the wizard behind the curtain. Thank you, Donna, for that nice introduction. Donna mentioned KastKing, and that is spelled K-A-S-T-K-I-N-G written together, cast with a K, K-A-S-T-K-I-N-G. I've been dealing with the company for a good many years now, since inception, which is about how many years, Donna, off the top of your head?
5 or 6 years, I think.
Yeah. I have their rods, their reels, and when I say reels, Donna and I are into spin, bait, and fly, and we have virtually everything from KastKing. The test is the test of time, and the equipment has been phenomenal. Right now, as Donna mentioned, we're going to be looking at 4 of KastKing's Spartacus fillet, boning, and food preparation knives. And as Donna also mentioned, I am pretty excited about this. So let's begin. I'm going to open up a box. When you order, you will receive a gift box like this for you, or if you want to give this as a gift, it makes a really, really nice gift. Let's open up this drawer. I have a tag here, and look at this 7-inch baby. I have mentioned, and Donna's going to give you the name of the other videos that deal with our knife sharpening systems, 3 of them that we rave about: budget priced, mid-priced, expensive, but well worth it, and you get what you pay for. We're going to be looking at this 7-inch blade, and I think it's 13.3 inches overall length. And I wish you could feel the handle on this. We'll talk about this, but on the other videos that I mentioned that Donna will be putting up on the screen, before I sharpened any expensive cutlery, whether it be kitchen cutlery, whether it be for hunting, fishing. I used inexpensive knives, and if you're new at this, I urge all of you to work on inexpensive knives. I had Dexter Russell knives for years. I kept them sharp, and they were okay. And I'm not even going to say nothing short of okay. They were okay. They did the job. But I've graduated now to some very serious fillet knives from Gerber and other companies. But these I received from KastKing, and I put them through their paces on several nice fish, big fish, small fish. And I said, well, for small fish, do I need, 7-inch blade, 13 something overall length? I thought it might be a bit cumbersome. Actually, when you go behind the gills and come down and then turn that blade to make that cut, this is an asset. It just really works beautifully. So don't be intimidated by a 7-inch blade, even for small fish. You'll notice that it has a tip protector, and I don't have them all. Each one came with the tip protector, but I took them off, and I just kept a couple to show you how it's received. Now, let's look underneath this gift box and see what we have here. We have a very, very nice scabbard, or as they were to refer to it as a scabbard holder. And I'm going to insert this into the sheath, and I want you to, well, here we go. I want you to hear this click. This is locked in solidly. It's not going anywhere. And just a little bit of a tug pulls it back out. But let me tell you, gotta do this the right way, how cool this is. You'll note that it has a hole in the handle, good size hole for a lanyard, if you so desire. Also, it has cutouts for a belt loop.
The sheath does.
The sheath does. And it also has a drain hole down here. So this is especially welcome in a saltwater environment. We all know the havoc that salt water can play on your equipment. So this will drain, and it will circulate air throughout this case too, so that will eliminate corrosion. Now, put this back in here, and we'll put this aside. Very, very sturdy, nice gift box. Might be a gift just for yourself, or it might be for friends, loved ones. It's a phenomenal knife. And I don't want to miss a beat here, so I'm going to look at my notes and make sure I cover everything that I wanted to cover. The steel, we all want to know, what is this steel? This is made from 8 CR14 stainless steel. It's a fillet knife, a boning knife, a food preparation knife. Again, the overall length of the blade and handle is a serious 13.3 inches. 7-inch blade, 13.3 overall. You'll note the finger guard, the hilt here, is a generous 2.5 inches from the top here to the bottom. You're not going to get your hands in the way of the blade. And again, I wish you could feel this handle. We'll talk about that in a second. Creighton G polymer handle, that's Creighton, K-R-A-T-O-N, G polymer handle, is an odorless synthetic replacement for rubber. It was developed by the Shell Oil Company some years ago. UV, ultraviolet, and slip-resistant grip finger guard. And again, the hole, note the hole for the lanyard. Now, let's talk about what this metal, some of you are familiar with this 8 CR14, translates into high chromium and high carbon content, which holds an edge extremely well before the blade needs sharpening. Now, you can sharpen depending, there's generally a range that they give, not they, but the company really doesn't tell you. I called on this and I figured to really nail it down, I'll see how these blades come in, at what angle they come in. I sharpen many of my blades for hunting and fishing and a good deal of cutlery at 21, 22 degrees. The apex on this went a little bit lower at about 19 was perfect. And I'll explain what I mean by perfect in a moment here. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to move this out of the way, make some room for a very serious sharpening system. Again, Donna will put, flash up on the screen the videos that we've done on this very serious knife sharpener. And again, if you follow us, you'll see that we have budget priced, we have moderately priced sharpeners, and expensive, but again, well worth it. This is touted. This sharpening, manually operated knife sharpening system, angle knife sharpening system, is not touted necessarily by Bob Banfelder as the best in the world, but by experts around the world for well over a decade. You get what you pay for. It is phenomenal.
And it is called?
It is called the Wicked Edge. Donna, you can give the number.
WE130.
WE130. So let's see how we're going to begin sharpening this. You won't sharpen this for quite some time.
Long time.
Trust me on this. But when you do, when you put it through its paces, you're going to see how this works here. Now, what I've done is, we talked about a 7-inch blade. So what we're going to do is just confirm that it is 7 inches. And where you can see I made a mark already ahead of time to, yep, running out, not even. We don't want it from in front of the hilt here. We're going to take it from where you can see the apex. And that is 7 inches on the money. Now I want to divide this in half with a mark here, so that of course would be 3.5 inches. Now I think I can use this, and we want to see if that's the case here. Three and a half would be up to this mark. Now we'll put this here. And you can see you capture that. Don't let me get this perfectly. One other time here. 3.5, there's the mark, right? There we go. Okay, 3.5 inches. Now, in looking at this, it's kind of an optical illusion. This point to this mark is 3.5 inches. It is 3.5 inches also from this mark to where this would intersect on the apex at the end of the blade here, where it's sharpened. Because, let's just do this so you can get the idea. We'll take, okay, you're not, it looks short here, but you're running from here to that point, that black mark. Okay, that is 3.5 inches. Okay, so trust me on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an accoutrement that comes with this, and I'm going to place it on the high mark. You could see I have a low mark to place it, and I have a high mark to place it. I should do it on this side for the camera, make it easier for Donna. And what I want to do is I'm going to place that mark right in the groove here, make sure it's centered, and I'm going to bring this down superficially until I level this blade. I want this level also. Look level to you, Donna?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so there it is. Now we're ready for sharpening. Now, if this was an extremely dull knife, let's say I purposely ran it up against Belgian block to show you how we get from a very beat up dull knife to not just a sharp knife but a scary sharp knife, we'd be here for a long time. After you use this knife for a considerable time, it'll just be a matter of touching it up. But let's pretend, we're just going to pretend that we're going through the paces. The kit, this model comes with 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets of stones, so you really have 6 different diamond grits. It doesn't come with the other 2. I opted later on to go from sharpening very sharp knives to very scary sharp knives, and that's the magic going into a higher grit here. So I have this set. I found that this knife is sharpened best at 19 degrees, and let me confirm that on my chart. I go to my KastKing 7-inch blade. I have 19 degrees, and I can get into this at another time. You know, this just tells me where I can place this next time without doing all the math. They give you an accoutrement that, of course, I can't lay my hands on. It just, it'll tell you A, B, C, D, where this is set. So, we're going to, now you could get cut very easily if you're not careful. What you should do, and I don't always practice what I preach, you should load your arms of the rod over here. This way you won't get hurt. And again, we're starting with 100 grit. And as we go up to 1500 grit and beyond that, it's making the blade sharper and sharper. So I don't want to ruin this. We're not going to do this at 100 or 200, or we're just going to pretend. So it is this kind of a motion that you would sharpen at. That's your rhythm. You pass right against the blade, lift, and come back. You don't come back on the blade. It's this kind of thing. And I'll show you when we get into some finer grit or microfilm. So that's it. So we'll pretend that we've done the 100, the 200, we go to 400, 600. And that's for blades that are really beaten up. They need to be re-profiled, but we haven't really done so much work that we need to, start from scratch here. So what I generally touch up with is I start with 800 or 1,000, but let's put on 800, okay? And I'm going to pretend because I don't want to really go lower than this. So I'm pretending, right? 800. Now I want to go to 1,000. I simply switch over. Okay, I don't have to take everything off again. And I'm actually going to do this lightly, okay? Lightly, okay? No pressure. No pressure when you're truly sharpening this either, okay? 1,000. And I would do that maybe 10, no more than 15 times for sure. And this is getting very, very sharp.
Well, it comes really sharp.
Comes really sharp.
Very careful.
I'm going to tell you, it comes really sharp, but you can see the difference when you go from 1,000 to 1,500. Okay, but it's more. What is it? Enamel? Is that it? Well, we'll get into the polishing in a moment. The 1,500, you're kind of on a cusp there, but we'll show mirror polishing in a moment. So here's our 1,500 grit, okay? And again, it would just be light pressure, okay? Very, very light. I even hate doing this because I have it so sharp, but I just show you. Switch over to, not a honing stone now, this is strips of micron 6 that you can purchase, and it comes maybe 5 or 10, maybe 10 in a package, enough for 5 changes here. And it's adhesive. It simply, you peel it off the sheet and you adhere it onto the blank stone here, and give this maybe 10 times. And what you're doing now is you're putting that mirror finish on the blade, the bevel of the blade. Okay, we already have it because I've been working this, and as a matter of fact, this is the way it came, polished, highly polished, but I used it quite a bit, and I just wanted to polish it up a bit more, okay? So,
Can we see how it cuts?
we'll get there. It can core a apple, okay? But I just want to make sure that I cover everything like I said. Okay, so what I do to really find my angle, like I said, the company doesn't nail it. They're not telling you at what degree. So what you do is, like I made that mark here with a black magic marker. In the middle, I would maybe start here. I'm not going to do this, but I would make the mark, and I would see if I'm pretty much on that angle. In other words, will, say, the 1,000 grit take that mark I made on the shiny, narrow, not the gray, but on the shiny, narrow strip here. And if you want to make sure that you're running true all the way through, I take my marker, and on the shiny, on the apex here, I go from the heel all the way to the tip. And when I start honing the blade, I can see that I'm on the money. Perfect. So on the money here, Donna, maybe you want to get the camera in here or on this side, whatever works for you. This would, you can see the 15 mark, number 15, okay? So to the right would be, it would be lower, 15, 14, 13. To the left, it would be 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, 18. Or is it not, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so 18, 90 degrees, that takes the black mark off, and you know you have your proper angle. Now, what's nice about this, Donna, can you get the holes here? Is there enough light? Maybe the lighting in here, I will flash this here. I'm going to point to the detents. Okay? You got that? Yeah. And I'm going to explain that in a second. If I was, setting this, I want 15, 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, 18, actually 19, 15, 16, 17, no, 18, 19, okay, 50, okay. I line it up, and I actually might be, when I screw this in, I might be between the degree. But as you tighten these down, if it locks, it falls, it self-centers, a better way to describe it. It self-centers itself into the proper degree. All right? So, that's that baby. And this is called your degree bar. And this is a beautiful, beautiful system. Okay, so the contrast between the length of the blades wide, you pronounced that.
Cerakote.
Ceramic dark gray finish. You can see the dark gray finish here. And it's narrow, shiny steel apex makes determining and holding the proper angle of breeze as you sharpen, strop, and or hone. It's Cerakote. Once again, I'm helping. Cerakote, not Cerakote. It's Cerakote ceramic dark gray finish provides for lasting good looks. The handle is very, very comfortable. As I mentioned, it's highly corrosion resistant, and it's especially appreciated in a saltwater environment. Extremely sharp and most affordable. We'll get into price in a moment. We talked about the drawer gift box with a snug fitting cutout packaging to ensure safe delivery, including a molded protective hard plastic riveted scabbard / sheath for each knife found beneath each package. You'll note that the knife solidly, you heard that, and securely locks within the holder. The sheath also has a drain hole, I'm reiterating here, so no water collects, as well as air, allowing for air to circulate freely through the scabbard. $24.99. Compare a fillet boning knife of this quality, and you will be paying at least double the amount. Now, you see this here, let's talk about flex. So we will be talking about flex in a moment. For a fillet blade, you want flex, you want this to give. And you have, for each of these, whether it be the 7 or the 9-inch, you have the proper flex through here. It's a beautiful knife. Okay, now, you got a good idea how this system sharpens, and if you're really interested in a quality, not cheap, but a very, very high quality knife sharpening system, this is the way to go. And as I mentioned earlier, Donna will be putting on another a knife sharpening system for half the amount, and then another one for the budget-minded. All three will do a job. You'll just work longer, and you'll work longer because of the configuration, because of you're working with diamond stones instead of ceramic, so on and so forth. So without further ado, as they say, let's go into the 9-inch. What, hon? What do you
You wanna
say?
move that off there?
Okay. This is, I don't want to get into this one yet. Well, let's go to, let's see what we have here. The next three are 9-inch blades. Yeah, this is the baby. Okay. So, 2 inches longer, and a bit, maybe a bit wider. Yeah, it would be a bit wider. And let me tell you, I did some stripers, and it just did such a beautiful job of filleting. I can honestly say that it worked better than the more expensive fillet knives that I have. As I mentioned, I started just to practice on Dexter Russell blades, went to Gerber and some other high quality knives from Alaska, and this blade is just phenomenal. So sharpening would be the same thing. You would take 9 inches, you would divide it by 2, you'd come out to 4.5, you'd make your mark, put it in here, and put, depending on how much work the blade needs, you would put it through its paces. You probably will start at a 800, go to 1,000, your 1,500, and then your fine polishing film, if you will. The micron film. Okay? And again, I just wish you could feel this myself. Let's see. Good. Here. Now, they call this KastKing Spartacus knife. They're all KastKing Spartacus knives. They call this one the strong, the regular, the standard. It's the standard blade, as compared to a much wider blade, wider by approximately 1/4 of an inch wider. Again, it's a 9-inch. You would sharpen it the same way. Take your 9, divide it by 4.5, put it in your vise, and sharpen away. Let's see now. Donna, could you hand me that last one? No? Okay. Now we're going to back up in terms of width. It'll be, this knife, 9-inch blade, will be approximately the same width as this one here. But what would be your use for? Why would I, and I do strongly suggest, you get all 4. You will be using these knives if you're serious about fishing and you're into, this fishing game. When you tackle a fish such as a striped bass has extremely strong scales and skin. You're going to be dulling this sooner than later. It's expected. I mean, you put your blade to work, eventually it's going to need sharpening. But if you start your cuts with this saw, if you will, cutting through the scales and the skin, starting behind the gills, and then use your 7 or 9-inch blade and come around, you're going to save yourself a lot of work, and you won't be as sharpening as often. This is a workhorse. This is an extremely sharp blade. Now, You don't put a serrated knife in a vise like that and sharpen it with the stones per se. I'm going to be doing another video on how to properly sharpen a serrated bladed knife. And a lot of people who use the conventional standard way of doing it wind up breaking teeth. They don't do it, of course, on purpose, but it just happens. There's a more intelligent way to begin sharpening before you would take a ceramic rod, say, and go in between the slots here. Okay, so let's see if I covered what I wanted to cover there. Oh, we got to talk about the prices of these. So whereas the 7-inch we said was $24.99, both of the 9-inch standard, standard, they call this stronger, serrated, okay? Standard 9-inch, stronger 9-inch, you're serrated, okay? They are $27.99 for the standard and $29.99, and you can feel the heft, the weight of this too. It's a heftier, stronger knife. $29.99, $27.99, $29.99 respectively. And then the serrated model is also a 15.3 inch and has the same profile as the 9-inch standard model. However, the serrated blade makes fast work of cutting through fish with thick scales and tough skin. For example, the scales of a striped bass, as I said, would sooner than later dull the blade of any quality knife, such as the two aforementioned 9-inch standard and heavier model blades, and the 7-inch also. Concerning any thick scaled fish, I begin my fillet cuts through scale and skin with KastKing's 9-inch fillet knife and switch over to one of those 3 knives, serrated fillet, and switch over to one of the 3, depending on the size of the side liner, for nice even cuts. The serrated model is $29.99 also. So once again, let's look at this. We're talking, do I not have it up here? Where do I have the 7-inch? $24.99 for the 7-inch, $27.99 for the standard, and $29.99 for the strong. 7-inch, 9-inch standard, 9-inch strong, the serrated. We talked about the flex. Flex, I'm just going to reiterate because it's important here. Mr. Beat, all 4 knives will endure extreme temperatures ranging from sub-freezing to desert heat conditions. And they mean that literally. I don't have the Fahrenheits in my head, but it's extreme. Personally, if you're into fishing, hunting, followed by food preparation, I'd suggest purchasing all 4 knives. They're a steal. All 4 are a shade over $100. $112.96 to be precise. That's an average. If you average, divide by 4, that's $28.24 per knife. And again, you would expect to pay at least twice that amount for a comparable quality fillet boning food preparation knife. You'll likely have the set for a lifetime with normal, non-commercial use. If you were involved in commercial I'm telling you, you'll probably take this down a bit, but it'll probably last a lifetime. Additionally, you'll love the look and the feel of these unique knives in your hand. Donna, do you think I missed a beat here?
Well,
Anything you want to
folks
say
can,
about them?
folks can order these knives from Amazon online, and the company is very good at getting back with questions and answers, for your questions and answers, if you have any. And they stand behind their product. These knives are incredibly sharp. They're incredibly functional, and they're so affordable. I mean, we use knives that are extremely expensive, but not as sharp as these knives, and they're wonderful for us because we're fishing
Or not as sharp,
people.
sharp initially when I sharpen them, but they don't hold their edge as well as these knives are going to,
Yeah.
with the chromium carbon materials.
And a ceramic finish, and it's a nice looking.
It
feels
is.
good it feels good in the hand too. It's a solid grip on this on these knives, so they're not going to slip out of your hands.
Okay, I think that's
They're real.
about it. Anything else you can think of?
No, again, they can be ordered from Amazon at the prices that Bob told you, and KastKing is the company, and you be sure to check out their rods and reels and other equipment if you're into fishing, whether it be freshwater or saltwater fishing.
Rods, reels, and all accessories, accoutrements connected.
It's an incredible company and incredible products that they put out, and they're very consumer friendly.
Okay, I think that winds it up. We thank you. Take care.